Peace and goodness. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to our today's reflection on the second Sunday of Lent under the theme, It is difficult to give up one's life in love. This theme causes us to practice selflessness in this time of Lent. To this end, our reflection will unfold as follows. We'll start by taking a look in today's readings and end with a take-home. From our today's readings, the first reading and the second and the Gospel all invite us to a profound encounter with the transformative presence of God, who encourages us to a deeper faith and commitment. For Lent is a time of transformation and renewal. In the first reading from Genesis chapter 15, verse 5 to 12, then 17 to 18, we find the narration of God's covenant with Abraham, of which, after Abraham follows the instructions of God, he is rewarded. And you and me are a product of this blessing from God. Therefore, we are encouraged to follow God's providential guidance, even when we don't know what to do. From the second reading, St. Paul writes to the Philippians, intensifying and challenging them to deepen their faith and hold on to what they believe in, and also to die together with Christ. The death we are talking about in this context is the destruction of our selfishness. Coming to the Gospel from Luke 9, verse 28 to 36, we find the account of the Transfiguration. From this account, there are some elements that we're going to discuss. First of them is the mountain. Jesus invites the disciples to go pray at the mountain where everything happened, the transformation. The mountain in biblical terms signifies the dwelling place of God or the meeting place with God. Therefore, we are encouraged to utilize our faith mountains to be able to be in communion with God, to encounter God's love. There are numerous faith mountains in our lives, and one of these mountains is this Lenten period. Let's utilize this mountain to draw closer to God. We also find the presence of Elijah and Moses. Elijah and Moses here signifies the law and the prophets are on the same page with Jesus' mission, and Jesus is the fulfillment of the law and the prophets. Then comes the voice of God the Father. This voice comes to clarify the mission of Jesus, which is to undertake in Jerusalem. It is different from the voice at baptism, which addressed himself, Jesus, said, "You are my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Here it was to confirm the identity of Jesus. But then in Transfiguration account, the voice addresses the disciples to listen to him. That means it confirmed the mission, and why were the disciples told to listen to him? Because they did not listen to him when he was telling them about the mission. This is the same situation with us. We are encouraged to listen to the voice of God, to listen to the instructions of God in this Lenten season. As we have seen in our first reading, when Abraham listened to the instructions of God, he was rewarded. In the Gospel, we also find the tendency of Peter to build tents and stay at the mountains. This is a human inclination to always stay in our comfort zones and just enjoy the comforts of this world. Thus, this Lenten season is a challenge for us to move out of our comfort zones, carry our cross, for we know at the end of the cross is the glory of the resurrection. Now, what is ours to do? I've singled out 3 points. The first point is we have to embrace transformation through prayer and listen to the voice of God. Jesus invited the disciples to go and pray at the mountain, and there happens the transformation, the transfiguration. His appearance changed. Thus, we are encouraged also to utilize our faith mountains to meet God in prayer for our renewal and transformation, for this is our hope in this Lenten season. And listen to God's voice as Abraham did in the first reading, where he was rewarded at the end of the day, and you and me are a product of this blessing. The second point is we have to trust in the promises of God. This calls for total trust, a childlike trust, like we've already seen in the first reading. When we trust God, when we carry our crosses and trust the process and the providential guidance of God, at the end of the day, we'll be rewarded. And this leads us to the last point. We have to prioritize the citizenship of heaven, for that is our end goal, our telos. Everything else we do here on earth should point us to the ultimate goal, which is heaven's citizenship. The Lenten observances and everything else should be anchored on this. This calls us to re-evaluate our attachment to worldly things. These 3 points are all anchored on the 3 pillars of Lent, which is fasting, prayer, and almsgiving. May this special period help us to grow closer to God, to be more fervent in prayer, to be loving and caring and charitable, and avoid all that can cause us to be drifted away from the love of God. Wishing you a solemn Lenten season.